Pleased to bring in right now White House Principal Deputy Press Secretary, but not for long, unfortunately. This is actually his last week. He's moving on to the private sector. So we're glad to have him today. Harrison Fields, welcome to Newsline. It's good to see you. It's been a moment.
Good to see you, my friend.
Yeah. So, all right, what is President Trump's plan tonight? Obviously, there's, going to be pool cameras following him, but our Todd Starnes there just dropping a really interesting angle on how committed the president is. He's going to go out firsthand this evening. What can you share with our viewers?
Yeah, pretty big news for our friend Todd Stearns. Had an opportunity to interview the President of the United States, and more details will be forthcoming. Of course, any movement of the President is going to have a security element to it that I don't want to get ahead of the people handling these plans. But what I can tell you, we saw the Vice President yesterday go to Union Station yesterday. No vice president in the history of D.C. would have ever dared to go to Union Station with the crime level as it was before the president took over D.C.
I loved it. It was breaking as we were on the air yesterday, and you could hear some of the activists, people who clearly had nothing else better to do. But I want to play a little bit of what Stephen Miller had to say, the White House Deputy Chief of Staff here, kind of nailing the sentiment of most people on what exactly was the reality here.
We're going to prove that a city can serve for the law-abiding citizens who live there. We are not going to let the communists destroy a great American city, let alone the nation's capital. And let's just also address one other thing. All these demonstrators that you've seen out here in recent days, all of these elderly white hippies, they're not part of the city and never have been.
It's like they're more interested in heckling than coming up with, things that make their city better. Harrison, your reaction to why they had nothing else better to do?
Yeah, I can't say better than Stephen Miller. That's exactly right. The people that are running around with their heads on fire about police being able to do their job in the nation's capital don't live here. And if they do happen to live here, they live in heavily patrolled areas and don't have to worry about crime. Listen, I've said it before, I'll say it again. The president has had no need to do this, but what he cares about is the American people who are under siege in American cities such as Washington, D.C., where they don't feel comfortable leaving their home because they have fear that they could be killed, that they could be carjacked, that they could be robbed. The good news here is that in 1 week since the president has been doing this, we have seen 0 homicides in the nation's capital. You're also seeing massive decreases in car thefts and robberies and a whole bunch of other violent crime. It's a testament to the president's Make America Safe Again agenda.
And we may see what happens in other cities. President Trump has said they could do something similar. In California, in a few minutes, we'll be speaking with an Oakland resident, which is getting some real concerns because they can't hire or retain police officers. Yet here we have Gavin Newsom, not worried about crime, not worried about people who are trying to rebuild after the fires. I want to get your take, Harrison, on the Governor Newsom press office account. Everyone says it's just sort of ripping off a President Trump style, the all caps, the memes, but not doing it well, a cheap imitation, and also so inauthentic. Newsom obviously is getting clicks, going viral, the account's growing, but under the surface of all of this is a man who apparently just wants to go out there and not solve any of the problems, but attack President Trump. Is that, again, how we see Democrats, out in the wilderness, we say all the time? How do you see this playing out and backfiring potentially, especially when he most likely loses that redistricting battle he started?
Yeah, well, one thing I'll tell the governor of California is that you cannot mimic MAGA. We don't need great value, Trump. We have brand name, and the American people just voted for him overwhelmingly, with nearly 80 million Americans rejecting the liberal policies of people like Gavin Newsom in support of President Trump. So Gavin Newsom and his annoying press team, a bunch of interns that have probably purple hair, should go back to their parents' basement and stop trying to mimic MAGA. They can't do it.